Welcome back to DUPLEX Dream House. I'm Bree and this is Garrett.
And today we're installing big windows.
Yes, that's right. The big windows are finally getting installed. I know everyone was super excited about this episode. It took us a few weeks to get it put together, but here it is. The big windows, the big light, it's all coming into the house.
And later, some grading. We had a little water in our backyard and nowhere for it to go, so had to create a little bit of a ditch to the ditch.
Yeah. So, check out the video. Here is a video showing the window that we received at the start that came damaged. So one of the other windows had rubbed against it and rubbed off the entire finish. We reached out to the company and all that they could do was send us a new one because it's not fixable. Anyways, so this is the new window that got delivered. The guy is just delivering it for us and dropping it off in place. Wow, look at that smooth delivery.
Big day. It is window install. And we're installing the front window. It is a little bit windy today, but good thing we had a good crew. Lots of muscle.
We were very lucky to have a big group of friends that came over to help us lift these windows in place. They're quite heavy. They're around 300, 400 pounds. So we thankfully had a good 5 or 6 people to help us lift them in.
Here you can see me applying caulk to the buck. That way there's an extra seal.
If you haven't kept up with our videos, the buck is the wood piece that's around that the window will sit on.
We set up the scaffold in 2 tiers. That way it's easier to get it up. This window is about 6 feet off the ground, so it's a little challenging.
To make sure we're installing this window very carefully, we are moving it in 2 separate steps. So as you can see, we put it on the lower level of the scaffold and we'll lift it to the upper level, and then we'll move the scaffold and place it in place. Now you can see here, this is where we move the bottom scaffold just over onto the higher rung, so that way we can have better leverage on lifting the window in place.
Three, 2, 1, lift off. That's right, she fit right in. Thank God we had a good framer on this job.
Here comes Brianna to the rescue. There was a metal strap that was sticking out and we had to push in place. And here it goes, and the window slides in.
Prior to everything, I installed some blocks on the inside. That way the window is perfectly level. We just have to move it side to side so that it's centered in the opening perfectly. Now it's time to install it. I like to use GRK screws. They've always been good to me and I've had no issues.
Now you can see our helping hand moving the scaffold to the back where we're going to install the next window.
I had installed some plywood over the window overnight, that way no raccoons got in, but now it's time to take that off and prep the window to be installed.
So this next window is quite a bit bigger and quite a bit heavier, but it is lower off the ground, so we're not lifting it quite as high above our heads.
Just by looking at the opening, you can see how big of a change this window is going to be. This is going to allow so much light into the house and have a feel of flowness.
Garrett is back at it, caulking around the buck for the seal of the window.
Here she comes. We're carrying her like a pizza so that it's nice and even for everyone to move it into location, and then we're tilting her up. As they say, many hands makes light work.
This is the moment that we realized the shipping blocks were still attached to the bottom, so you can see Garrett laying on the ground trying to unscrew them while we lean the window back. And now the window is all prepped and ready. And 3, 2, 1, lift off. This one is definitely a lot heavier. You can see us moving quite a bit slower.
But on the back side, the wind was almost non-existent, so it was actually easier. You can see us putting back up the cross braces. That's because we're taking the other one off due to it being in the way to install the window. You always want to keep at least one when you're working on one platform. If you're higher up, you want them all on.
When working with heavy objects, it's really good to keep it in steps. So here we are doing the same thing as the front window, readjusting the rung and getting ready to lift it in place.
3, 2, 1, c'est dans le trou.
As you can tell, Garrett's intrusive thoughts came through and he spoke French. Don't ask me why. Here we are. Thankfully, we were able to get her in place pretty relatively easy. And now we are securing her. We wanted to give a quick shout out to all of our friends that came out and helped out on a cold, miserable Saturday. Thanks Planter Guy, Christian, Chad, Leah, and of course, Big Guns Riley.
Here you can see me fastening her off, and then we're off to lunch.
As Garrett's fastening off the window, here's me giving Christian a nice little tour of our very energy efficient Coltech PVC framed door. As stated in a previous video, we did get our doors from Coltech because they do have the most energy efficient doors, but our windows are actually from North Star Windows and Doors. They just had a lot more variety on what they would custom make for the sizes of windows that we could get, and Coltech couldn't quite make the windows large enough. So yeah, we had 2 different suppliers.
Here I am back the next day to tape the windows up. You can notice it is way windier today, so good thing we installed the windows yesterday. I managed to get her done, but it was a bit of a struggle. I'm using the 3M all-weather flashing tape here.
We said this in a previous video, but again, whenever you're using tapes or flashing tapes, it's really good to use a roller and roll out any air bubbles to make sure that it is nice and sealed and tight.
Prior to the window being installed, I applied tapes and flashing to the bottom sill, and then once the window was installed, I installed the sides first and then the top. That creates a positive lap that water can run down and no joints that can fail and water intrude. I always like to have my tape running directly to the sheathing. That way there's no failure point here. It'll be completely sealed, and if the Tyvek or Typar building paper, whatever you're using, that fails, you will not have to redo your window flashings.
I apologize, the camera keeps going in and out of focus, but that's just to show how windy it was. It was shaking the camera and it was struggling to focus. Garrett is finishing up the tape job here. We did not film the taping of the back window, but he did complete that as well. We just didn't want to bore you with 2 full window tapings. But yeah, so after we were done that, we started grading the side of the lawn.
Time to get the toys out. This tent shelter has been really good to us, holding a bunch of stuff over the winter time. I got it for my birthday last year, and it's been great.
Let me tell you, we have the most randomest things in this tent shelter. As you can see, we've got a beautiful stove that came with our house that is now out in our tent. They call that an outdoor kitchen, don't they?
And here she is. This is my Kubota L3301. I had purchased it for our past acreage, but decided to keep it as we need to do quite a bit of grading in this backyard to get it to drain correctly.
This tractor actually has a hydrostatic transmission, and so what that means is that there is no shifter. It is just a pedal that you rock back and forth to go forward and backwards, and you can go from one to the other pretty smoothly.
Time to go to work. Here you can see me using a combination of the bucket on the front and the box blade on the back. The box blade kind of roughs the terrain up, and then the bucket comes and scoops it. There's lots of roots in these areas, so it took quite a bit of work, but after a couple of days, it was good.
We have willows that line the property right next to where Garrett is grading, so that's why all the roots are coming through the ground. I know a lot of people are not a big fan of willows, but me and Garrett actually really enjoy willows. They hang over very nicely and create this beautiful greenery space that we really enjoy. I believe that the final video at the end, when I do the walkthrough, the trees had all budded and they're all green, so you'll get to see what that looks like at the end.
All the dirt I'm taking out from here, I'm taking to the back of the yard so that everything grades towards the front street where there is a ditch. In the back, there was really never any drainage plan, so it just kind of sat. But this way, we'll be able to get a nice flow of water every time it downpours.
Here's a little bit of a better view up close. As you can see, it's a lot of working with those roots, and you can see that the bucket sometimes lifts the tires off the ground, so you got to back up and go back forward.
I opted to get a little bit bigger of a tractor when I purchased it, just so that I'm not limited in as many situations. But as you can see, all the power doesn't really matter because you need weight. There are options to add weight to a tractor, but I make it work.
You can probably see that our grass is a little patchy over here because we're doing lots of work. It gets pretty roughed up pretty quickly. But don't you worry, we will be reseeding it when we do the backyard.
This is also the north side of the house, so it gets almost zero sun due to our house being so tall.
How tall is our house, Garrett?
It is around 30 feet to the peak.
Man, you gotta love a two-story.
As mentioned, this did take a couple days. It was a bit of a battle, but we got her beat.
And that is all the grading. So now we're going to bring you through a full tour from the start to where we are now. So this was the house when we bought it from the exterior. If you remember, we had some brick, some stucco, a nice big eyebrow. There was a side door. Wrapping around the back, it looks like we have some beautiful grass, but what you don't see is the massive pond of mosquitoes in the backyard. But yes, this is our little oasis. And here is the back of the house. Very boring, plain, just some windows. In this clip, you also get to see what it looked like before we graded the side. Here is during the renovations. We had installed all of our small windows. Still the original door, but there's no big window in the front or back. And we got rid of that side door. And here's the back side with our door installed and our small window installed. And this is what the inside of the house looked like before we had our big window installed in the front and in the back. So this was the front room, right at the front door there, our living room. Here's a move into where the kitchen used to be, where our massive new window to the exterior is. A reminder of our backyard and what that used to look like, as well as this was the dining room next to the kitchen, where our new back door is, as well as powder room. And here's the look from the front with the brand new window installed. As you can see, we still haven't installed our new front door. That's because we want to get all the drywall in so we don't damage the door while bringing the drywall in. And here's the look from the side. As you can see, the 3 small windows, and we got rid of that side door. And here's the look from the back. Wow, that window makes a huge difference on the aesthetic of the outside of this house. Here is what the backyard looks fully graded. So as you can see, we mostly have dirt here, but you can see how it angles down towards the side and out to the front. So hopefully this will keep all the water away from the side or from our house. And here's what the side of the house looks like that we will actually be demoing in maybe the next video. This is the final look from the inside. Like, wow, look at all that light that comes in. Look at that beautiful view. We are going to be enjoying that backyard for years to come. I cannot believe the difference. And now we swoop over to the front, where you get to see what the front window looks like. As you can see, it's a little bit higher off the ground, but we will have our dining table right there, so we really don't want people seeing our whole legs from the front street. That is all that we have for you guys today. If you're enjoying our content, please hit that subscribe button. We are currently on a goal of reaching 100 subscribers. We are currently at 85, and we'll see you next time. Catch you on the flippity flip.